From 9, time to get some opinions from Russell Brown. He's over at publicaddress.net and also Media 7 show on TVNZ7. Morning, Russell.
Good morning.
And every year around about this time, you get the public address viewers to readers, I should say, that's it, to vote on the word of the year.
Yes.
And
always a two-step process. There's the discussion and then the vote. And there was a lot of words suggested this year, which I think was a function of the fact there was a lot of news.
Yeah.
I got it down to 44 for voting. And the number one word of the year, just ahead of number 2, was munted.
Munted.
Which people have sort of... I think everyone who voted for it recognised it as being in reference to what happened to Christchurch.
Yeah.
And, of course, Bob Parker actually, put it into the mainstream by saying, telling journalists that our main sewer trunk is munted. I believe that's the technical term.
Yeah.
So when Bob Parker says it, you know that the word's arrived, even though it's been around,
It arrived, but also jumped the shark at exactly the same time.
Exactly. It's a lovely way of putting it, actually. And the next phrase that we're all waiting to, see jump the shark, just behind actually was neck minute.
Yeah.
Well done, Levi Hawken.
I found myself, even this week, still using it. For some reason, I really like it.
Yeah, I do too, actually. And I don't have a lot of sympathy for people who are precious about it.
Yeah.
And I see this morning the top New Zealand YouTube vids have been revealed, and it's the neck minute video is the number one. So big year for Levi, and I think it's worth pointing out that some people think it's making fun of him, that clip. It couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah.
He's stoked. He's talking about neck minute TV.
Yeah. and he I think he has been selling some merch. I think maybe through another organisation that has been working out for him, so that's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I think it's all working out for him, and he's got plans, I gather.
Good.
I was talking to DJ Substance from Homebrew, and they went down to Dunedin, and Levi introduced them on stage.
Brilliant.
And neck minute, Homebrew.
Nice. And I see ghost chips also on the list.
Yeah, I reckon that's really interesting. That's the New Zealand Transport Authority, anti-drink drive ad.
Yeah.
And so for a social campaign like that, for a public health campaign, to get that sort of cut through, I think is a real victory.
But they've always been able to do it ever since it was the same day, David. I think that they've always had something in there that has just got into the natural language of New Zealand.
Yeah, but I think this one in particular, and the fact that they didn't make they didn't actually make the characters in that video look like complete munters, and they put long words in their mouths. I thought that part of it worked really well.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been internalising a complex situation.
Yeah.
So it was. I think the word of the year for 2011 was actually a particularly good one. There was, we had all sorts of things in there. There was Occupy and Arab Spring, and 4 different actually, Christchurch earthquake referencing ones.
And fair enough. Okay, now moving on to the media review of the year, which you're going to be doing on Media 7 this week.
Yeah, we've got Matt Heath, Michelle Acorn and Wallace Chapman. I'll be talking to all of them about their media years. Yep. Because I think they've all achieved in various ways. And then we'll go through, I gather that Matt and Wallace Chapman have something to say about the whole double down, KFC double down burger thing. Yeah. I can't believe that both of them actually were at the same time as hating the hype, decided they'd have to go and
buy one.
And Wallace unfortunately tried to go incognito to buy one and got sprung.
Yeah, I got to say that I did have one, but it ended up being delivered here.
Right.
So I didn't actually enter a store to get it, but it definitely wasn't really worth the hype. I could say that.
No, I could tell that. And sort of more on the serious side, we also saw the end after 130 years of NZPA, which I think was a real loss, and I don't think we've quite worked out what's going to take the place there, because you need your press agency to be doing all all those unglamorous little jobs,
Yeah.
like reporting parliamentary select committees, that are actually important to democracy.
And I guess because we've had the election and the Rugby World Cup, we haven't really noticed just yet.
No, I think you might be right. We had so many big news events that the news organisations are going to cover anyway.
Yeah.
That that we didn't notice. And I have to say, special word for Hamish Clark of 3 News for his reporting on the earthquake in February. I think he showed what we as journalists should all be prepared to do, and that's respond to the situation. And I think it showed the virtues of experience as well. You see a lot of young people turn up on TV news now, and I think Hamish demonstrated that there is no substitute for experience.
Yeah, indeed.
And it was great to see him win the Media Award, the Canon Media Award this year as well.
But do you get the feeling that, I mean, sure, 2011, humdinger of a year for news events, but, man, 2012, I don't know if you saw the front page of The Guardian the other day, but it was painting 2012 as going to be this massive sort of doomy, gloomy kind of dark year. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of the way it's shaping up. No one quite knows what's going to happen with the Eurozone. We could still see the breakup of that. People are starting to split the dummy and take positions. Britain's behaviour over Europe in the past couple of weeks hasn't been encouraging. So, yeah, it could actually be, economically speaking, it could be an even worse year than this one.
Yeah.
Which is kind of terrifying, actually. I think other things notable in this year's media, though, was The Guardian, even though it's losing tens of millions of pounds a year, continues to point the way that newspapers are going to go. Particularly during the English riots, Paul Lewis's reporting during that, where he was using his mobile device as both as a research tool, as a reporting tool, to basically to navigate, and he had ended up with tens of thousands of people following him on Twitter and directing him places.
Yeah.
I thought that was remarkable, and then they followed that up a couple of weeks ago with Reading the Riots, which was a magnificent project where they actually went and talked to a whole lot of the people who'd been caught up in the riots and actually asked them what they thought they were doing. It was fascinating. So good work's being done. It's just unfortunate there's no money in it.
Well, yeah, and so in saying that, do you not think, though, now that people recognise the worth in The Guardian? I certainly do. Through the Android devices and also through online on the web as well. Why not put some kind of paywall up there now?
Well, I think for the moment the Guardian iPad app is free, but it will start, I think, in the new year they'll start charging for it. And Alan Rusbridger has been saying at conferences all year that he thinks that in 5 years' time there won't be a paper Guardian.
Right.
And I suspect, there's basically no newspaper better set up to forge into that new world. Whether there's enough money in that new world yet remains to be seen, but I think The Guardian has the best chance of anyone.
Well, because I think they've proven that, because most people say, well, I can go get the news somewhere else, but I think The Guardian have proved that you can't get their type of news anywhere else. Yeah,
exactly, because they're doing original work.
Yeah.
I think The Guardian has been quite inspiring at times in the past year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully they can stick around.
And finally, one other trend?
One other trend... well, let's see what happens in digital TV next year. TVNZ7's been defunded. We have Igloo, the joint venture between Sky and TVNZ, which I think has all sorts of problems associated with it. We'll just see what happens, basically.
And is Media 7 working towards some other kind of model?
There's a bunch of different things could happen, and I cannot tell you, honestly couldn't tell you which one is going to happen. We're hopeful of being around after June. We're guaranteed to be around till June 30 next year, and then after that, who knows? Okay. But hopefully we'll still be with you, and I'll still be whatever. Actually, I'll still be talking to you, mate.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, I appreciate that. I tell you what, I have been watching Media 7 through the new YouTube app on the Xbox 360 dashboard.
Ah, handy.
Yeah. So you got on PlayStation, you got the option of TVNZ on demand.
Yep.
And now on Xbox, the YouTube channel, which just works.
Yeah, it does. It's interesting, actually. There's TVs now come with little YouTube apps as well. So it's getting easier to watch that sort of content.
Yeah. Well, all the best for the festive season, Russell.
Indeed. Well, no doubt I'll see you during the summer sometime.
Absolutely. Look forward to talking to you once again on the wireless in the new year.
Indeed.
See ya.
Maybe.
Russell Brown over at publicaddress.net and the Media 7 Show, TVNZ 7.